You guys ever watch Dragon Ball Z? Goku goes Super Saiyan. Yeah, me either. I'd never seen it, but it's when he becomes much more powerful. All right, the podcast went Super Saiyan this week. Hawkeye Nation has had 2 losses in a row, and they need some juice. All right, we're here. Let's have a day. Let's go.
Washed up Walk-On fans, welcome back to week 6 of the podcast. This is not your host, Tyler Kluver. This is Drake Kulik, and I asked to take the lead on this podcast this week because we're trying to give you guys a little bit of a change of pace and spice things up and try and make things interesting. So, Kluver might have the lead later on the episode, but now,
I'm still here. But
yeah, I mean, he but right now I'm going to take the lead. And I think the first topic I want to talk about today with you guys is a little beef that I have with a fellow podcaster, a peer, as some would say, even though others may say he's above us, Pat McAfee. I got beef with Pat McAfee because I claim plagiarism on his newest episode of the podcast that he came out with George. And I think it's plagiarism because George was going to be our guest. And George is a fellow Hawkeye and fan of the show. And he's also having one hell of a season with the San Francisco 49ers. And he's been asking to be on the podcast. And I'm like, George, absolutely. We would love to have you on the show. Come on anytime you're free. And obviously he's been busy with, tearing up the NFL for 100 yards every week, but we were pushing for him to be on the show. Well, Pat McAfee swoops in all his glory, all his podcast followers, his humor, his popularity, and he takes George from right out from underneath our nose, and he does a podcast with him. And I think that's bullshit. And I think you guys should be enraged because we're clearly the better production, and we are the ones who had the talent from Iowa City, and he took it from us. And I have beef with that.
Wow.
And that was my little rant. And I'm pretty worked up because, George was going to be our shining star. And now we look like we're swagger jacking Pat McAfee.
Drake, we don't agree on much. You'd agree with that, right?
Yeah, you're right.
We can agree that we don't agree on much.
Correct.
I did not agree with a single word you just said there. Drake, you can become the best professional poker player and become the next Dan Bilzerian. Kluber, you can become the next Rich Froning of CrossFit, and I could win the lottery, and still all 3 of us will not be as cool as Pat McAfee. So I have no problem with George going on.
I like how that ends with you winning the lottery and not progressing in your field at all.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, winning the lottery is a lot cooler than, I don't know, I don't even know.
Yo, if you win the lottery, me and Drake aren't going to be playing poker anymore. Or Drake won't be playing poker anymore, and I'm not going to be coaching. We're all gonna go live somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm gonna be living in the undercarriage of your yacht and sailing the oceans of the world, seeing different sites. I really want to see the pyramids of Egypt. Like, that's on my bucket list of things to do. Like, if there's
actually, yeah, I saw an Instagram picture of somebody I follow who had went to the pyramids today, and I was like, damn, that'd be cool.
I mean, dude, just think about how magical that looks.
The history
thinking
of
back
that.
to how long ago it was that they sculpted those things, and just to see them in all their glory,
yeah,
that's incredible.
There's a theory that aliens actually built those.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably factually accurate. Yeah,
It's got to be close.
I'd be kind of pissed if that's accurate because we didn't get to meet these aliens that were just so far in front of their American counterparts.
Yeah. I'm kind of pissed that we won't be alive long enough to meet the aliens, because eventually it's going to happen.
To all the aliens listening on this show, yeah,
We're glad you're here.
come visit. We'd like to see you before we die.
Yeah. Agreed. If nobody else would like to see them, the washed up walk-ons would love to see the aliens.
Yeah. If you guys haven't like figured this out, we're switching up the pace a little bit this week. What we want here is a little more conversation between the three of us, and not so much us talking at you guys like I'm doing right now. So we're gonna try and keep it conversational, and we're gonna see how that works.
Because in the end of the day, we're three best friends that have had a lot of real fun conversations together in the house, and we can bring that raw purity, I guess.
Yeah,
to you
I
guys.
think we were handicapping ourselves a little bit by trying to just sound, I don't know, more professional. I don't know. The humor isn't going to come out unless we're talking to each other. So I think that's what we're trying to get at. How you guys doing? How was the last week for you guys in your life?
I've been busy doing a bunch of adult shit, man. It's really not that fun. Kind of want to go back to not having responsibilities.
So listen to this. So Kevin, as obviously you know, Kluver, he likes to play a lot of poker in his free
Yeah.
time as well.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but he likes to play poker in his free time. And I tried to get Kevin to come to the dark side and study poker and take it up and dive into the poker as a career with me for a while. And I just couldn't get him convinced that it was the right thing to do.
I just, for one, it would have been at Riverside with you.
I mean,
And I don't know if you guys. I mean, a little bit. I don't know if you guys want to play against each other all the time, though. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, that's
There's
probably
only
true.
So much money to be made there. I mean, that really wasn't really the reason. I mean, the reason
No,
is I'd
obviously,
rather have a steady paycheck. But I will admit that you have a far superior lifestyle of being able to work whenever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
like
nice.
I collected a nice little check on Monday morning, and I came home, and I haven't even thought about doing anything adulting since.
I was gonna
except,
say,
you
how
know,
is the poker paycheck lately?
It's been good. Antonio Brown says business is booming, and lately it has been.
That's good to hear.
Thank you.
Cool. What's going up with your new gym? Is that all set up yet, or are you still working?
Yeah,
on
man.
that?
Grand opening on Saturday, 9 a.m. for those in Des Moines. Again, gonna plug that. Grand opening, free food. Come work out with us. I'll be leading along with a couple other of the coaches, and yeah, if you care about the longevity of your life, or being able to get up out of a chair when you're 80 years old, that's what CrossFit's all about, even though most people don't think it is. And come check us out.
Are you allowed to be a coach when you can only squat 95 pounds? Or, I mean, I feel like that's a prerequisite, you know?
That's honestly like a dirty shot from you right there. So to the listeners, I had, most of you follow me on Twitter, and most of you don't follow the other two on Twitter. So
Wow, that's a pretty big shot at us.
I gotta
Thanks,
come back
Kevin.
with something. I tweeted out, oh gosh, it's going on 3 months now, that I was having some patellar tendon surgery, which is why Kevin's saying that I can only squat 95 pounds. I can squat more than 95 pounds. It's just that's what I was at the other day. Embarrassingly enough, that was 2 days ago. Yesterday, my quads were sore. But yeah, I'm about 3 weeks out from being done with rehab and being able to go full go. So answer, yes, I can coach, and it'll be great. If you want to come out. Free food. I don't know what the food's going to be. But yeah, opens at 9 a.m. 10400 Hickman Road, Dock 31. Anyway, Kevin, you were saying something about, this is something I wanted to bring up.
What's up?
right before we started recording, you were going to ask me about a fantasy football trade. Hit me with it.
Oh, yeah, it's not my trade. So I mean, it's really not that interesting. But yeah, would you do this? James Conner,
No,
Thielen.
no, I would not. I saw that trade. That is absolutely ludicrous.
Well, hold on. Who has who?
Yeah, hold on, because all of our listeners aren't in the league, Drake.
Oh yeah, that's right.
James Conner, Thielen, and Cole Beasley. So like just a trash player on top of it. And then for Kareem Hunt, T.Y. Hilton, and Greg Olsen.
Wow, what a trade! That's a lot of heavy hitters in one trade.
But like Greg Olsen had one good game. Like he hasn't been having that great of a year. Obviously, Carolina's good. They have a good offense, but
so what?
they have a
what
lot
it
of weapons
sounds
to
like
spread the
is-
ball to. And
Yeah.
like, so that's not really a good pickup. T.Y. Hilton is a good receiver, but he's certainly not like
What it
an
sounds
Adam
like that
Thielen
trade
quality.
is you're hoping that the 3 will be better than the 2, essentially.
Right, exactly.
It's also dependent upon what you need on your team. So you have which side of that? You have the Connor and
No, I
Thielen?
said I'm not even on this trade. This,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I used to have Connor. I picked up Connor the day that Le'Veon didn't report
Show up.
the first week of practice and week 1. Ended up trading him for Melvin Gordon, and then there's some other guys in there. But yeah, I'm actually set up to win this league right now.
Yeah, I'm not set up to win my league. I've actually got mine pulled up right here. I am a solid 3-6. And here's my starting lineup: Mitch Trubisky,
It's not bad.
Sean McCoy.
Oh god.
Okay, this is this week's lineup. Duke Johnson Jr. is my RB2.
All right. So, what's the last place punishment, and what are we gonna have to see you do in about 2 months?
Okay, well, that's the thing is I'm still not in last place. So
Really?
there's someone worse than
What's
me.
your punishment, Kluver? Come on.
That's not the thing because I didn't get to my receivers. My receivers
We
are
don't care about your
Thielen and
receivers. We just want to know what
Antonio
you're gonna
Brown.
do in 2 months because your running backs are trash.
Well, okay, so I probably will be in the last place game. So in about 2 months, I am going to be playing to not do this. The punishment is a alcohol 5K.
Oh,
So that's 3.1 miles or 3.2 miles, whatever. And I believe the agreement was every half mile, you have to stop. Like 2 people will be at each half mile, and at each half mile, I have to, or whoever loses has to stop, finish the alcoholic beverage. It's going to be a variety of alcoholic beverages.
that is so brutal.
And then you start running again. So
That's pretty brutal. Hey, check this
Let's-
one out. My
let's hope for
brother's
the
in the league
best.
with his high school buddies, and the loser has to do, I think it's a half hour of open mic night at a comedy club.
That's not good. Like we've talked about that in
Dude,
our league. We've talked about that at our league, and I'm actually terrified. Like even though I think that I could put together something decent,
I
more
would
so
be
than the other.
absolutely fucking terrified to stand up in front of comedy critics at an open mic night and have to just
That'd be
embarrass
tough.
myself. That's literally like the definition of a nightmare.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
All right. That's enough about fake football. Let's talk about some real football, huh? What did you guys think of the Hawks the other day?
We suck.
Like it sucked. We do not suck. It sucked to just go through. And it was like the last possession, it felt a little bit like Michigan State 2015-esque. It was just like they were bleeding it down and getting plays when they needed to. And then all of a sudden the last field goal, it's brutal.
We went through a couple of those. Penn State last year,
Yep.
Michigan State 2015. I think those are the worst. Honestly.
Oh yeah, those
Yeah.
are way worse than getting blown out. I feel like.
God, I mean, I think everyone's thing is the potential of this team and the talent on paper and the lack of results in the record. It's that's why everyone's unhappy, because like 6-3 isn't a horrible record, especially if you're in a year where you didn't expect to be that good. But everyone feels and knows that this team is and should be, 3 or 4 plays per game in the 3 losses away from 9-0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Without doubt. I mean,
So sad.
the guys on the team are the ones most upset about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, and we can get into this because we're gonna do a couple topics and and questions from the Twitter again, but I probably got like 4 of the responses were like, what's the team's feeling in the locker room after, in a situation like this? How does the team feel? How is the morale? What's the motivation like?
I mean, for a while, you just feel sick. Like you just
yeah. I mean, you feel really like it's a sick feeling. I don't know how to describe it. Like you feel like something just got away from you. You just feel like that, but it's not a part of the question was, I think a lot of people, I don't know, at least with the way they asked the question, a lot of people think once the Big Ten championship's like out of question, there's nothing left to play for, which is completely off.
Yeah, that's as far from true as could be.
So
I think that it does suck. Obviously, that's the goal, and I have another kind of runoff that I'm going to go on a little bit later, as far as goals go when you go into a season. But the goal every season is Big Ten championship, and when that's gone, when your life is college football, I mean, you wake up, eat, breathe, shit college football. Just because you're not playing for the Big Ten championship anymore, like just naturally, you're not just going to give up and just throw what is your whole life and just say, screw it. Like we're done. Like we're not motivated. Like the guys in the locker room are more motivated to fix what's going on than anyone. But I don't know. I mean, that's my feeling on it.
Yeah. The losing locker room where you've pretty much been eliminated from the Big Ten championship, it feels like you just got stabbed in the stomach and someone's twisting a knife up around your lungs. It's awful.
It's like, because it's like a finality feeling. Like it's literally like a death. Like there's a death to a dream, and there's nothing you can do to get it back.
I hate when I die in dreams.
Yeah, but to go along with that, like you're still a competitor. Like I know you guys feel the same. I know like every guy on the team feels the same. Like there's still nothing better than the feeling of winning a college football game and being in the locker room after a huge, regardless if it means you're going to the Big Ten championship or not.
No, yeah,
absolutely.
Winning cures everything.
Right, exactly. So to say that the guys won't be motivated going forward is complete horseshit.
Like, and the other thing is like, so what? The Hawks are just like, a lot of people give me the impression the Hawkeyes are just supposed to lay down now. Like, what do you want them to go 6-6? Like, oh, season's over. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Nothing to play for. We'll just call Northwestern. Hey, you guys can have it. We're not going to the Big Ten championship anymore. So we decided
we're not eliminated yet. Northwestern has to lose 2 more games. True. Wisconsin has to lose out, but I mean, it's basically
it's over.
I mean, there is such a thing as pride. I mean,
right. I'm going to quote Kirk Ferentz here and say, whenever we won our 6th game and all the media is like, oh, the Hawks are now bowl eligible, he's like, all right, the goal isn't to be bowl eligible, okay? If we go 6-6 and end up going to Detroit, we'll take a fucking bus there the day of and bus right back after the game, okay? 6-6 and going to a bowl game is not the fucking goal, okay?
That's not the goal, all right?
Clear? All right.
So, okay. So, I mean, that couldn't have been more spot on, and we have officially broken out the KF voice. So, I mean, it's now the floodgates have opened because that is exactly how he would sound. I mean, he would come to the team meeting. All right, we're 6 or we got our 6th win, okay, and that's good. All right, we're happy that we got 6 wins. All right, but that's not the fucking goal. Okay.
And then every year,
Anybody in here? Anybody in here going to be okay with 6 wins in November? No, I didn't fucking think so. All right. We're looking at, we got Northwestern. Okay.
No, my favorite part every year is like he brings out the press clipping from the South Carolina guy when they played them in the Bowl in 09.
Yep.
These fucking assholes over here. Okay. We had this one guy. Let me read this. Let me read this. This is his quote. You know, going to the bowl game is nice and everything, but the real treasure is the bowl game. You shitting me? Okay. You guys worried about bowl gifts? Oh my God, you gotta be shitting me, all right?
You're spot on right now. It's almost like you've been practicing.
He breaks out that press clipping of the guy talking about how excited he is to get bowl gifts, and that's what he's all excited about every single year. But
I can't believe you two assholes just did that. I'm sitting here just stunned, just laughing my ass off. I miss the head coach so much. I just wish I could hear that guy say that shit one more time.
Dude, I do too. I miss him. Not only that, I miss Coach Doyle. The Hawkeye Football put out a video on Coach Doyle talking about strength conditioning today. I miss being around legends, and like Coach Ferentz and Coach Doyle are legends.
Yeah, I miss
and like not being in the presence. Man, I'm realizing how much I learned on a daily basis and how much I was soaking in from just watching them and how they do things.
Yeah,
I miss that so
it's
bad.
crazy, dude. I miss Brian so much. Like the amount of football knowledge that Brian instilled in me, and as much like, you know, life lessons that he taught us all in like the span of a year of having him as a coach. Like that dude's a wizard, and I fucking just miss learning from him.
I think one of the things I miss about like just basically the entire staff is being around people every day that want to see you succeed at the absolutely highest level and are doing anything they can possibly do to make you a better player and a person.
Yeah. I mean, it's such an opportunity. I feel like I kind of grasped the magnitude of it towards the end of our career. Because as seniors, you get to do some things and you kind of start to realize some things. But when you're in the middle of it, you have absolutely no idea how precious. Not just you get to play college football. That alone is awesome, fantastic. 1%, not even 1% of people get to do that. But outside of that, just the ability to be around, like you said, Kevin, people who want the best for you, have the ability to help you get there, and you're already elevated. Like, it's so amazing. Like, I don't even have words.
Would you say like the love that you develop for a coach over a 5-year period where you guys are together that much, and you know you go through that much, and all of the points that you hit on, Kluver, would you say that that's like a true family love? Like you love him like he's actually your family?
Absolutely.
100%, dude. That's how I feel about several of the coaches on that staff. Like I miss them so much because I actually love them like family.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like the program that we have was just such a special place to be. And I know that any one of us could go walk into that building tomorrow and, you know, be welcome there. Like I went
open arms.
Yeah.
Open arms. I mean, this is how so example of what you just said. Coach Woods invited me back for a day of camp to come talk to the specialists, give my opinion on how things were going at the time. I go into the special teams meeting, 7:15 special teams meeting. Gotta love them, you know. And Coach Woods opens it up, and I'm sitting in the back, and I was just like, I was already back in heaven. Like, I feel like I'm back in this, you know, sitting on the side. And he brings up the PowerPoint that you guys saw a million times with Bob Sanders and the clip of him, you know, smoking that guy in punt return. And he's talking about Dallas Clark and the legends that were made on special teams. And he, in the middle of the meeting,
goes, we have a special teams legend with us right now. Tyler Kluver sitting right back there. For all you new guys, that's been our long snapper for the last 4 years, one of the best long snappers in the country. I was like, I wanted to stand up and be like, hello, I'm Tyler. Coach lied. I'm an asshole. I'll sit down now. But that's like the kind, like I come back, most of the guys know who I am, but Coach Woods takes the time out of a meeting to introduce me again and tell everybody that I'm there. Man, I felt good.
I mean, I went back for a camp practice too back in August, and I just walked into the linebacker room. Coach Wallace gives me a big old hug, says, "Oh, take a seat right here. You boys can learn something from this guy right now." And I just sat in the meeting room, went out to practice that day, talked with all the coaches. They're coming over to me like, "Hey, what are you seeing? Is there anybody you out there that's impressing you?" And it's just such a great family atmosphere. And
I really like, every program says that there's no other program in the country like them. It's not true, but at Iowa, it's true. Of course I can't 100% say this with certainty. I'm sure there's other programs that are very similar, but one piece that speaks to it with actual factual like severity is just the fact of Coach Ferentz and Coach Doyle and the staff being around for so long. There isn't a program in the country like Iowa. There isn't. It's like, how fucking lucky are we?
Boy, I'm so happy I made the decision to walk on there.
Yeah, I mean,
life-changing event.
And now the washed up walk-ons are born. All of us.
we went
paying our own way.
I said we went
What?
through some cool shit there. Like some of the stuff we did together.
Yeah.
And some of the tough
Extremely.
times we had to go through together to get to some of the great times. Like it was quite a journey.
Yeah, man. I want to take a minute to. I forgot to do this last week, and I got caught a little flack because I told people I was going to do it. I didn't mention. I mentioned the whole donate thing, and we've got some merchandise extravaganza to talk about as well. We have an update on that, but last week I forgot to mention some of our donators that were just absolute legends. I'm going to read off a bunch of names real quickly just so we can show our appreciation. Michael, Amit, Nick, Jason, Gwen, Linda, Sid, Tyler, Drew, Vicky, Dylan, Kevin, Kyle, Michael, Joshua, Zach, Jake, Sean, Josh, Brian, Nathan. You guys are all amazing. All of you were in the $20 or less range. I'm not going to disclose the next values because it starts to get bigger, but Eliza, David, Gabriel, Dusty, Liam, and Tyler Barnes.
Tyler
A legend.
How about that?
A legend.
Shout out to my family,
Ray.
man. Hawks help Hawks.
Yeah. Ray, Don, Adam, and Derek. Have to give a shout out to Tyler Barnes because he donated. He sent us a text today showing love. A big fan of Tyler Barnes. True story. First person I ever really even met in the program, Tyler Barnes. First recruiting trip I ever went on. So for the fans listening, in 20, and this is actually something we need to get into too, and we will eventually here, is kind of how we made our journey to Iowa and how it happened. We kind of talked about it when we were talking about walking on and stuff, but we came in with a different staff. There was a different staff there. And even before that, the year before we came in was a different staff than we came into. There was a new staff our year one, slightly.
What?
And coach, what?
Oh, you're talking about recruiting staff?
Yeah. Well, no, like there used to be, the way that I kind of got into the program was I went out. I'll just tell the story. I basically got into Iowa because I went to a regular position camp because that year they were doing work on the indoor that was being built and they couldn't have a special teams camp. So I emailed them and said, yo, can I come and snap like before or after a position camp, like QBs, DBs, all that. And they responded like, yeah, show up a half hour early, yada, yada. and God, what was his name? God damn it. Coach used to be the old running backs coach, and then they used to have a guy named who?
Lester Erb.
Yeah, Lester Erb. So Lester Erb, and they used to call him Soup, but I don't know his real name. He used to be the wide receivers coach. They were waiting for me like 30 minutes before. So I show up at Kinnick. I go down into Kinnick by myself. Like it's me and two coaches in Kinnick by myself 30 minutes before this camp was about to start. And I'm like, it's the windiest day of the fucking year, of course. And I'm like snapping a ball to the wide receivers coach, and Lester Erb, the old running backs and special teams coordinator, was there. And they like 100% didn't think that I was going to be anything. But then all of a sudden they liked me, and now we're here. Regardless, the next time that I had anything to do with Iowa, Tyler Barnes was the one who, it was like a spring day practice or something. Might have been the spring game. And Tyler Barnes showed me and my dad around the spring before we came in for like 2 or 3 hours on a single day. And I was like, damn, this guy's cool. So shout out to Tyler
Barnes, man.
Did he go somewhere in between that and then he came back? Or was he there the whole time?
I know he just got the recruiting coordinator job a couple years ago, so I don't know where he
Yeah,
went.
so I feel like he went somewhere else. The fact that we don't know that, Tyler, is honestly bullshit. And you can call us out. You can text us when you listen to this. But Tyler Barnes is a vital part. We were kind of joking around with him, talking about we were making fun of Brian too, and his hair. Oh gosh. We're 32 minutes. See, I really like this format.
Yeah, I think
guys.
we're doing a cool little thing. I actually think there's going to be a good response.
We're 32 minutes in, and we still haven't really talked about the Purdue game. So we might as well, a little bit. I'm not really going to break it down. We lost. We lost a close game.
We lost
right?
and we covered. And as far as I'm concerned, we can move on there.
We did cover.
Did cover. Hawk. The Walkons are now 5-0 in their predictions. So I hope you guys enjoy your vacation to Dubai that you have scheduled coming up, and put the down payment on the yacht.
But disclaimer though, because some people are getting confused because Drake's betting money line. We're simply anytime we offer the go with the Hawks, it's simply on the spread. All right.
Yeah, I'm going a little further, and rather than taking the points that I'm given, I like to try and squeeze a couple extra dollars out of Vegas sports books, and sometimes you come up short. Sometimes.
Which soon to be, Iowa is getting sports books.
Yeah, that's what I hear. If that's true, then Riverside might have some of my money.
Yeah, that's really big for my family. My dad and brothers going to be spending some time. That'll be actually way cool. I heard Prairie Meadows, Drake, is already putting in they're already in the process of building their sports book.
I think they had like a semi-sports book anyways, because obviously they do horse racing there. So I feel like they may have had something in the works anyways, at least internally. So it should be an easy transition.
I think they're amping it up. Yeah, that'll be sweet. But yeah, Purdue... for one thing, Purdue's good.
Their offense is sick, dude. They proved to me that they have a really elite offense.
Here's the thing. I want to talk about this, and I'm asking you guys because, to be honest, my football knowledge compared to your guys's is minuscule. For those listening, I know as much about. Well, put it this way: schematically, I know as much as basically the average fan. I know a little bit. But Kevin and Drake obviously they knew the playbook in and out and what we were trying to do. This is straight up. When people ask on Twitter and start saying, not so much ask, but say, we got out coached, What does that mean to you guys? And what does one team out coaching the other team look like? And how do you determine if a team gets out coached or if it was simply a team got outplayed?
I personally don't think
Yeah.
we ever get out coached in any way. We have, like, obviously we're biased because we already talked about this whole deal that we have so much respect for our coaches. But I mean, there's a reason that Coach Ferentz has been the head coach at Iowa for 20 years and he's the longest tenured coach in the country. And if he is capable of being the longest tenured coach in the country, then he's probably capable of putting together a pretty good staff too. You know, guys like Brian, who coached in New England under Belichick, and Coach Parker, who is just in like a long lineage of great defensive coordinators. Like, these guys are there for a reason. So for anybody to question if we got out coached, I think that's just silly, because Brian can call the best game ever and Coach Parker can put the defense in the right blitzes and things over and over again, but they're not the ones actually
Yeah.
playing. And
Okay, yeah. So that's what I was going to come to, Kevin. I'll get you in a second. So, in my opinion, and I think this is why a lot of fans jump to the out coach thing. I think it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. I think the fans, they want to believe in the players as much as they can, 100%, and be behind them. And so when it looks like we're being out coached, they don't want to blame it on the players, which is awesome. You guys want to be high and up on the players, but plain and simple, sometimes guys fuck up and they don't play well, or they don't do what they're supposed to, and it is on the players. Sometimes it's on the players. Like, I get that they're college kids. At the same time, they're Division I football players. They have assignments. They have things to do. So you can blame it on the players sometimes. It's not, and like you said, it's not coaching. The coaches know how to win. I mean, it's been proven. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes things aren't executed well.
Yeah. Execution's a huge part of it. The coaches try to put the players in the best position possible to make the plays that they need to make to win the game. But as far as the out coaching thing, to me, the coaches on both sides of the field are playing a game just the same way as the players are. They're
Yeah,
trying to
absolutely.
team up plays that give their players an advantage, and they're trying to, put their players in the best possible position versus the other coaches are. And so, yeah, coaches can get out coached, obviously. I know Coach Parker talks about some of the plays that he regrets calling where, he maybe called like a zone blitz where he felt like he should have played coverage or vice versa. And he'll talk about that in meetings where he's like, you know what, this is my fault. I made a bad call here. Or, we'll talk about one of the things is that on one of the first big plays I saw in this, the first touchdown, actually, Purdue got in a formation that put a lot of stress on our field side corner. And
you were responding to a bunch of people who were trying to blame Gervas or something, and it was
the
actually
announcers blamed Gervas. The announcers had no idea what was going on. Well, because they don't know how our defense is drawn up and how it is like schematically.
right.
Maybe that just goes to show you shouldn't listen to the announcers like ever, because they have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, they get. I know no one cares, but they're horrible at special teams. When like a kicker or punter misses or shanks a kick, they have no idea what they're talking about. It's so annoying.
Yeah, but I mean, so going back to my point though is, yeah, sometimes the opposing, like I'm just going to talk for the defense here. I can't really speak for our offense. Sometimes opposing offenses scheme up really good plays that put a lot of stress on our defense in the way that we're drawn up. And,
right.
Our coaches are usually very good about finding a quick solution to that. Whether it is making a check at the line of scrimmage or, start playing a different coverage. But it happens. Like other teams have good coaches too, and they can draw
right
to put their players in the best position to win.
Right.
But and at the end of it, it all comes down to execution.
It's not an absolute thing though. Like, yeah, on this play, we might have been out coached, but on the next play, Coach Parker got their ass back.
Right,
So it's
exactly.
like it's too much of a ebb and flow to simply determine that a whole game. There's probably examples somewhere out there. Purdue the other day was not one of them,
No.
where you could say, okay, this team was simply and very, very evidently outcoached, but Iowa rarely, in that situation.
Right. And to just go along with that, like the times where Coach Parker will tell himself that he fucked up and made the wrong call, very rarely. Whenever we're going in meetings and going through the previous game, whenever we give up big plays, 95 times out of 100 is because of lack of execution on the player. Like he just got beat, and it happens. Yep. But to say that we got out coached or that the coaches, I don't know if that's trying to imply that the coaches aren't putting in enough effort or anything, which is complete bullshit because our coaches put in at least 18 hours a day during the season.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't know how they stay alive.
Yeah, it's actually the most unhealthy thing that you could possibly do, which we're gonna kind of merge into the Q&A / topics that people asked us to talk about, which goes along with the coaches not putting in enough effort. Somebody asked, like, I can't find it, but the question was, what do you have to say to the people who are calling for Coach Ferentz to get fired? Or not necessarily this game, but like, it comes up every so often when the Hawks don't play well or this and that. I mean, it's just like,
dude, I
actually laugh.
Literally, just go headbutt a knife.
I was gonna say get bent. Like just get bent.
Here's the thing, and it's something that understandably those saying that he should be fired wouldn't get. Yes, sometimes Hawkeye football may underachieve. You could say right now the Hawkeyes are underachieving. Is it the coach's fault? Is it the player's fault? It's not one or the other. It's everybody's fault. Everybody involved in the program. But here's the thing. Coach Ferentz has this program at a level of productivity, wins and losses wise, where the way he turns 18-year-old kids out of high school into men, and what he does for the state of Iowa, what he does for the University of Iowa, what he does for the Big Ten. He's the freaking dean of the Big Ten. Is he the dean of all college coaches? Maybe something like that. I don't know. What he does that isn't related to the wins and losses is so valuable to the university, and to just, I know a lot of people are like, I don't care about the Iowa's going to have a good reputation no matter what. I care about more wins. Fuck you.
Not true.
Okay?
Not true. Go bring in one of those jackasses like DJ Durkin and then say that. There's a bunch of scumbags out there in the world of coaching. A ton.
Somebody DM'd.
Like, think about that. If you want Kirk or head coach fired, we could be with Lane Kiffin.
Like, I don't think people truly understand, and those who are listening are going to agree with us. Those who actually feel like he should be fired aren't probably listening. But for those listening, if anyone ever says this, just bring this up. The world of college sports, Division I sports especially, is dirty as hell. All right. Me and Kevin and Drake, we don't know shit about that because Kirk Ferentz runs the cleanest program in the country. It's so clean.
It's spotless, actually.
I mean,
yeah, we know friends that have gone to programs across the country where it is not the case at all.
I heard I played in the Under Armour All-American game. I spent a week with the 5-star recruits, the top 100 5-star recruits in the nation. The amount of times just bus riding back and forth to the hotel that week and to the events we were doing that I heard about players receiving money or gifts or special treatment when they went on their official visits or just in the mail was I couldn't put it in a notebook. It would fill an entire notebook with the amount of examples that I heard that week. I've heard multiple of other people on the team
who had friends who showed up to their official visit at an SEC school, and there was $3,000 cash in an envelope sitting in their hotel room. Like,
Pretty sure
it is dirty. It is dirty out there. And Kirk Ferentz runs the cleanest program in the country. And does that probably cost us a little bit compared to those other schools? Yeah. Honestly, it probably does.
Yeah, you show an 18-year-old kid. It was $10,000, by the way, Kloof. $10,000. He's like, hell yeah, I'll come here. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like,
And are they going to have better people? Yes, they're going to have better football players. Are they more than average on an average year going to have a better record and a better team? Yes. But do you, as a fan, want to give up the integrity of the program for wins and losses? I personally do not. I know Kevin and Drake do not, and you should not as a fan. And if you do, don't unfollow me on Twitter and stop listening to the podcast because you're wrong.
yeah.
That's what I have to say.
And it's not even to say that, like, we're giving up wins because
clearly we're a
margin-
successful program.
right.
Yeah.
Right. The margin to win here, I know we wanted to talk about this earlier.
Yeah, we're getting into this topic big time because this is the next one, and I'll as you kind of introduce the topic, I'm gonna find where somebody asked about it on Twitter. But this is a huge one that I think Hawk fans need to listen to. So Kevin,
Difference
introduce
between good Hawkeye football teams like the 2015 team and teams that underachieve like the 2014 team, razor thin. So microscopically laser thin that it's so hard to pick out. You can go back to that 2014 team. We finished 7-6, dog shit year. People are calling for coach's head again. If you look back at that season, we lost, I think, 5 games by 1 possession or less. 5 games. We could very easily have been 11-1 at the end of the regular season and playing in the Big Ten title. Now you look at 2015 team. I think we had 7 wins that were 1 possession or less. And 1 possession games come down to, you can point out 5 to 8 plays that made a huge difference in the game. Huge.
5 is even
That's
heavy.
all it is.
You can pick out 2 plays that would have changed the game.
Seriously. And that's all it is. Each game multiplied by the entire season, 10 to 20 plays in an entire season between going 7-5 and 12-0. That's really all it comes down to. And it's the same thing this year.
Same
We're
players,
6-3.
same coaches.
Yeah, we're 6-3, and we're like 12 plays away from being 9-0. And we're also another 12 plays from being, I don't know, we could have lost the Iowa State game. I guess there really wasn't any other close.
this year, probably not so much on the other side.
Not so much on the other side.
So, and this goes to the whole kind of the being dirty thing. And we're gonna bring up Iowa recruiting in general, and Iowa being a developmental program. Okay, everybody out there, a developmental program. The question on Twitter, I couldn't find it, but it was something along the lines of, why is it that the Hawkeyes have to do everything perfect and literally have to play a perfect game to be able to compete and hang and be in a situation to win the games against the good teams with all the talent? And people wonder, when are we going to get to a point as a program where we don't have to play our best game and we can still win those games? And I'm going to tell you, and you're not going to like it, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. As a developmental program, a clean, do it by the books, no NCAA violations, integrity, honesty, tradition program, Iowa football will never be in a situation where we make mistakes and we play a game at 85% of our capability or our potential and we can beat Ohio State. It's never going to happen, people. So just stop.
We win by being the more prepared, tougher, and more disciplined football team. That's how we win. If we are not the better team in all 3 of those categories, we lose football games.
We lose.
That's why
Wisconsin, we were the better prepared team. We were the better offensive team, and we were the better defensive team. But special teams fucked us. We lose the game. That's how it's going to be every time.
And it's like there's other coaches around the Big Ten that have made comments after games like, oh, their practices must be bloodbaths and things like that. And it's during weeks that we didn't even have pads on, but it's just like what's ingrained into us. It's like the culture that they teach at Iowa is that you have to be the toughest team. And so they really just kind of breed us into going out there and truly desiring to impose our toughness on them. And it's just like what we're built on. We have to be that way because we don't have the pretty boys that can just fly up and down the field without getting touched.
Yeah.
So when you have 5-star recruits, 4 5-star recruits, you can do the little things wrong and still get by. You can because of your pure talent. Especially when you have a lot of them, a whole team stacked of them. And so then you say, oh, well, then why don't we recruit 4 and 5-star players? We do. They go to the places that give them 10,000 in an envelope. And we're not saying, I'm not going to say that every place does that or every player was given those opportunities because other coaches are great at recruiting, but Iowa is not a destination place for a recruit. You're coming to the Midwest in the middle of a cornfield, and the program is going to straight up tell you, we're going to ask you to bust your ass and work hard and do things right. That in today's age is not very appealing to 17 and 18-year-old recruits who have other schools sucking them off to come and play for them. They don't want to do that. They don't. So when you can go to Iowa or you can go to Florida, you're going to choose Florida. You can hang out on the beach. There's great weather. There's no snow. You might have got paid to go there. You're not going to be asked to be accountable like you are at Iowa. You're not going to have to work as hard as you do at Iowa. Unfortunately, the way it is, those teams are going to be able to compete with Iowa. It's just, I don't know what to tell you guys. But that's what you have to get through your head.
It's nature over nurture, man. Sometimes nature just takes over.
To your point, Kluve, I think that
fucking worked up.
Yeah, but we don't want the guys that want to be.
Don't want them.
We don't want those guys because
no. And the fans, they probably don't understand this either. The fans do want them, but in reality, we don't want them because those kind of guys, a guy who isn't willing to do it the Iowa way, is not a guy.
It would be a cancer. That person would be like a cancer in the locker room. You know, we're one.
I told somebody this. I gave them this example on Twitter. I said, we could have Tom Brady on our team. And if Tom Brady was not going to class and doing what he was supposed to in meetings and getting his homework done and taking care of himself as a citizen, Tom Brady would not start for the Hawkeyes because we just don't do it. We just don't.
I think I saw something on Twitter the other day. I forget who it was, but it was he was a D lineman that ended up committing here. This was like back in the day, and he was talking about when he was being recruited by Coach Parker, and how every other coach that was recruiting him would just say, like suck up to him, tell him how good he was. But when Coach Parker came, they said, let's watch some film, and then told him everything he was doing wrong and how he could be better, and told him how much harder he'd have to work at Iowa. And that's what sold him on the program. Is ended up committing. I can't remember his name, but I saw it on Twitter the other day.
That's a super badass story. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah, I'd never heard it before. I literally saw it like last week. And but yeah, that's the type of guys that the Iowa program thrives on. Guys who want to bust their ass, guys who want to get better, not the guys who are all about, being popular, having their, just being cool and, just being given everything because they're so talented. We want the guys that are going to work and outwork, out tough, and out prepare our opponents.
There you have it. We kind of went off there.
We're 50. Any dope questions?
We're 54 minutes in. Yeah, I got a couple more. This is the fans. They might get a little more this week. It might go an hour 10. I don't know because we got some stuff to talk about. So yesterday was election day. At the time of this recording, 2 days ago, when you guys hear this, most of you, for those real washed up walk-on fans who listen the day it comes out on Thursday. Do you guys feel American? You guys vote?
Oh yeah, I voted.
I don't know if I
you.
necessarily feel more American.
I felt
I-
very, very American. You know,
I did feel more American when I walked in. My polling place was right down the street in a church from our house. I walked in and there was all the election stuff up, and I felt like I was, people are saying like it's your civic duty. I felt like I was doing it. I felt good about myself. I can't say my vote was the most informed.
Yeah, that's kind
But
of the
I
same way
voted.
I feel, to be honest.
well, I made sure to do my homework, and I walked out of the polling station and felt like I had a bald eagle sitting on my shoulder. So, yeah, I love getting out there, doing your civic duty, being American.
Yeah.
Do your job. Go vote.
Kevin, when I picture you voting, I think of something along those lines. Kind of you getting out of your car at the polling place with no shirt on, and American flag swim trunks, and then you pop open the back of your Denali, and you grab a real American flag and tie it around your neck as a cape, and then you walk into the polling place and scream, USA, love it or leave it, Ricky Stancy, 2012.
Amen, brother. Amen. I'm gonna do that.
2009.
I'm gonna do that in 2020.
And then when you walk out, a bald eagle flies down from out of nowhere, lands on your shoulder, and just you kind of look up at it. It looks at you, and then the camera pans out because there's a camera on.
Clover,
in
how
my
much
head.
acid did you drop before this episode?
I don't know. I just that just is what I think of when I think of Kevin.
I just went on a trip listening.
Anyway.
to you.
Yeah, I do that. The reason I bring it up is one of the questions was, is the locker room political at all? And then they said Coach Ferentz seems like he would try and keep that out of the locker room. Coach Ferentz actually encourages the guys when stuff like this happens to go do your research, learn about it, be up to date, and be informed. But in general, the locker room is like not political at all. Like I don't know if in 5 years I ever heard anything
Like it was
Um,
the presidential election 2 years ago. Like people were talking about it and stuff. You know, people had their opinions, but it was
Yeah.
never hostile or anything like that.
No, not even close to hostile. Like no one gives a fuck.
I mean, some people kind of care, but like it was never like it's never like when you see conservatives and liberals go at it on Twitter or anything. It was nothing close to that.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Yeah.
it was usually a pretty good discussion, you know, and guys making their points on both sides, but
No, you figure out that guys are a lot smarter than they look too,
but no,
or dumber.
for 364 days out of the year, the locker room is not political. No.
Yeah. Oh, what do you guys think of Pat Fitzgerald as a coach? To me, he's like the Tom Brands of football. Super intense, able to get the most out of his athletes. I personally respect Fitzgerald. He's the second longest coach in the Big Ten. I think that speaks a lot about him. He's never rubbed me the wrong way. He has an awesome GIF out there that me and Kevin think is hilarious.
No,
If you guys can find
best
this,
Vine of all time.
or oh yeah, okay. Rest in peace to Vine. He had a great Vine out there where I don't know if they won or lost, but someone asked him a question and he's like, his answer was, "Ugh, well, better get home safe." And it's not as it was the caption of the Vine was when your designated driver takes another shot of Fireball.
All right, well,
Let's get home safe.
let's get them.
Let's get home safe.
Me and Kevin legit laughed for 5 minutes straight over that Vine when it came out. What do you guys
I
think?
have to
What do you guys think
respect
about
him. You know what I mean? He seems to have a program a lot like Iowa in that they don't get the sexiest recruits and they don't do anything in a really flashy manner, but he keeps coming up with results, and he seems to be able to get the best out of his players. And as far as I'm concerned, like what more do you need than that? If you have a team that is achieving its absolute potential, then you can't really ask for more out of a coach.
Yeah, so for the listeners that don't know, my oldest brother played at Northwestern. He was a 3-year starter there at left tackle. Yeah, Fitz is a good guy. I got to know him kind of well through that. He kind of got recruited by Northwestern. They were trying to get me to walk on for a little bit there. But yeah, kind of like what Drake said. He's a guy who has a ton of integrity, and they're built a lot like Iowa. They don't get the flashy recruits. They have to win by out preparing and outworking the opponents. The one thing I do have to say about him though is like 5 years ago, like he looked like a badass coach. Like he got off the bus and he looked like he could still play. But like he's like kind of sporting a dad bod now. He's kind of a little lazy. Like, I don't know if you guys
Well, dude,
Head coaching will do
we
that
talked
to you.
about how, yeah, we talked about how like being a coach is not a healthy lifestyle.
It's not, but I mean, KF's in the weight room like almost every day, and
he puts in work.
Yeah, I would put my money on it that KF is in the best shape out of any Big Ten coach. I'd put my money on it.
Well, I don't know about that.
I'd put my money on it.
You think he's in better shape than 36-year-old PJ Fleck?
PJ Fleck's a pussy. Bring it on.
And there's another shirt idea.
PJ Fleck's a pussy. I love it. So is his program and all of his fucking players.
Okay, wow. What you guys got one hell of an episode this week. We're gonna wind it down. I'm gonna put up one more question. There's so many good questions, and because of the way we did this episode this week, we literally got to like none of them. So I'm not even gonna ask next week because we can just do more questions. Somebody asked if we thought what we were saying on the podcast was being used as bulletin board material in other locker rooms. And I thought that was an interesting concept. I don't think any of the opponents are listening to us. I'm pretty sure it's just an Iowa fan thing. If it got to them, honestly, I think they would like it. And if they were offended by something, we don't play in the program now. So that was probably in regards to like the Nebraska rant that Drake went on.
Let's just put it out there that
we don't really
do
fucking
not
care
for the program, the coaches, or any current players. That being said, fuck Nebraska, okay?
Okay.
Fuck them all,
No.
dude. As far as I'm concerned, if they're on the schedule, fuck them.
Yeah.
And
we don't have any connection to the current program, so none of what we say should be as a reflection of Iowa. But I mean, as you can tell, we respect them obviously a lot. But
yeah, to go back to the question, if there's any team out there using us as like motivation,
you're silly because you're not playing against us.
It's ridiculous that you need 3 washed up walk-ons, guys who are literally just working jobs in the real world. Well, some of us, Drake.
we're
Oh, really?
losers.
Some of us, Kevin. How many paychecks have they cut you? You working in the real world, or were you at in your parents' basement today?
I am gainfully employed. Okay.
Oh, you are. How many paychecks they cut you?
I haven't started yet, but I have a job.
So who's unemployed?
Okay, I want to. Oh God. Technically, both of you, because you don't have an employer.
Kluver, how much you make this week?
And
okay, we don't got to discuss this.
I'm not gonna
no, we don't.
disclose
But
that,
that's a good
but-
clapback because you know the answer to what I'm about to say to you. So I
not very
don't want to
much,
hear the
but-
unemployed thing. I'm employed. I'm self-employed.
You're not unemployed,
not
Drake,
coming-
because you're not even looking for a job. So technically, you're not unemployed. I'm not unemployed because I have a job.
I hate listening to you guys argue, but I love the fact that we can actually hear you this week. For all that didn't know, Kevin didn't have his fucking mic turned on last week.
Just another reason
It wasn't
he's a
even
jerk
turned
off.
on.
Allegedly.
On our current microphones that allegedly, we got new microphones, and we're gonna roll into this. Thanks for the donations and all the help because we were able to get new mics. There's an on-off switch on the new one. Kevin had his off last week. That's why he sounded different.
Allegedly.
Anyway, allegedly. thanks to rolling into that, we're an hour 5 minutes in, and we still have to talk about the biggest thing that happened this week in Washed Up Walkons territory. We dropped a goddamn merch store, bitches. All right, we got merch
and lots of it, and we're actually really proud of it.
I haven't even. We got there's 10 different women's pieces or men's. There's 7 different women's articles of clothing. We got a beanie. We got a trucker hat. Some of you listening, or some of you who have already ordered, I've been getting messages that you didn't scroll the way down. Like some women were asking about if we were gonna have women's sizes or women's things. You got to scroll down the page. There's women's shirts and stuff, sweatshirts, and there's hats. So I promise you, these hats are elite. I don't think most of you scrolled down that far. Go back on, get your credit card back out, and order these hats, because I promise we don't make that much money on the hats. We're making $5 a beanie. I want you to have a dope hat, and I want your ears to be warm. Okay.
And we want you to rock
that being said,
the best podcast in Iowa football history.
The Hawk. I mean, and that being said, all the people who have already ordered, the store's been up for a day and a half. Incredible. We have nearing 150 orders. I counted individually. We're closing in on 250 actual items of merchandise. The Hawks by a Million gear is hitting it like we thought it would. Hopefully, a lot of you people who maybe don't even follow me on Twitter but just follow the podcast, we'll get another surge in sales here. But it's not about us making money, because if it was, we would have gone a different route. Trust me. We want you guys to rep these Hawks by a Million shirts, because we literally think we could blanket Kinnick in them. They're so sweet.
And we're passionate about our podcast, and we think we've got a good thing going here, and we really enjoy your guys' positive feedback.
In the end, it does support us. It does support the podcast. But man, a couple of our Bo Bauer and the Bauer family, shout out to them. They put an order in for 5 different pieces of merch. Ike Butker is going to be hooked up with a Hawks by a Million Nike sweatshirt. We got the Nike stuff, people. We got the Nike stuff.
Shout out to the family down in Florida, the Coolit clan that is ordering their merch and getting the word spread down there.
I haven't even ordered mine yet. You guys might think that we get it for free, but the way we're doing this, we have to buy our own merch as well. So, God, the Kluver family is about to put in an order of it's probably going to be the biggest order, a singular order, but man, I'm excited. We're excited about it. We're super happy that we're able to do this. We're able to give you guys some good stuff. We haven't even talked about Northwestern. We could say a couple words about them. I don't.
Let's just put it like this: they're coming to Kinnick. They're on a hot streak. They are the best team in the West. Well, they're the highest ranked team in the West. I didn't mean the best team in the West. They're just the highest ranked. They have the best record as far as Big Ten play goes. But we're favored by 10 points. So
just look at it that way.
I mean, it's a weird dynamic.
That being said, Drake, what's the
I don't know. It's a weird dynamic because we're in Kinnick.
We always play close games with Northwestern.
I know it's
here. I'm gonna put it out there. The Hawks don't cover this week. Take Northwestern on the spread. I'm putting it out there.
If I'm a betting man and I'm telling you guys listen, if I have to bet this, then I obviously have to take Northwestern if they're being gifted 10 points. They're a good football team for all the reasons we've already talked about with their head coach. But I just won't say it. I have too much pride to say it, and I'm going to bet a 3-figure sum on the Hawks because I hate money and I love the Hawks, and Hawks by a fucking million regardless, because they're in Kinnick and they're going to get this sumbitch turned around. So now as I think about it, the dollar amount is going up in my head because the Hawks are going to bring this one home by a fucking milli ball.
Kevy, what do you think?
You know what? I was thinking the same thing as Drake. I love the Hawks winning, but Northwestern covering. But you know what? The Hawks.
Drake's got you fired up.
The Hawks are pissed off. Yeah. They desperately want to win. We're back in Kinnick. Hawks by a million.
Millions and millions and millions.
Then so is it 2-1? The Hawks cover then?
Hawks are covering, dude.
Let's go.
Hawks cover.
Hawks are covered. So the washed up walk-ons, you can take it to the bank 2-1. I was outvoted. The Hawks cover this week. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys kind of like the format that we busted out this week. Clearly, we honestly cut that short, and we cut a couple other conversations short, and we didn't even do all the Q&A, and we went 10 minutes past what we normally do. I think my feeling is that this is a better format and that you guys are going to like it more. Kevin and Drake, I know they like it more because it just allows us to converse with each other.
And I really like sitting back and listening to your guys' conversations as they are organic.
Yeah.
Like it helps me come up with new ideas of what I want to say, listening to your guys' points.
Mm-hmm. I'm already thinking about all the topics I wanted to talk about this week that I didn't get to, and we could talk about next week. We teased on Twitter that I almost killed Kevin on a Sea-Doo, on a
which
jet
is
ski
100% true because I was a witness.
Yeah, I saw the,
and I
saw the angel of death look me square in the eyes, and
I didn't get to tell that story this week. There's so many more stories like that. Gosh, I'm excited for where this podcast is going. If you guys want to,
we're gonna leave you guys with blue balls. Like you guys have blue balls now. Thinking about next episode.
I mean, and we want to keep giving you guys the best content we can. Give us suggestions. Tell us what we can do better. Tell us what you want more of. If you want to help out the podcast, you can donate you can contribute in 3 different ways, essentially. You can go right now. I know you're listening to this on a computer or your cell phone. That cell phone has the capability to type in washedupwalkons.itemorder.com, and you can go buy 10 pieces of merch, and you can support the podcast in that way. And you can also have some dope ass clothing to wear for this
and
holiday
all of
season.
your family could have dope Christmas gifts.
Right. What more do you need? Christmas right around the corner. 2, you can go to the Anchor page that we post this on. There's a support the podcast button there, and you can subscribe to us for $1, $5, or $10 a month. Thank you to those who already done that. Or number 3, and if you want to, kind of confirm this with me, you can Venmo me, Tyler Kluver, Venmo me at Tyler Kluver, money. Or I've also opened up the PayPal account, paypal.me/Tyler Kluver is my PayPal address for money. And those are all the ways you can contribute. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. God, we had fun. Wasn't it fun?
I had fun.
An hour and 12, 13 minutes. You didn't have fun?
I said I had fun.
Oh, good. That's all. It's all about fun. I don't think we had any technical difficulties, which is just incredible. Gosh, I mean, that's it. We'll be back next week. Talk about Northwestern game. Hopefully the Hawks turn this thing around. There's nothing much more to say than have a fucking day. I just rhymed.
Have a day, boys.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.